On some of the latest NFL news, Patriots have informed wide receiver Stefon Diggs he'll be released at the start of the 2026 league year next week. I'll confess I was at least a little bit surprised by this news. But my receiver today is Harry Douglas. Harry, does this mean that the Patriots, need to go all in after A.J. Brown right now?
It's a possibility, but Greeny, I think the most glaring need is revamping that offensive line. We have to remember last season in 2025, Drake May was sacked 47 times. That was the fourth most by any quarterback. And then when you got to playoffs, he was sacked 21 times in the 4 games. So protecting your franchise quarterback is the most important, in my opinion.
So let's talk about that here. The A.J. Brown of it all came out. You just came back from Indianapolis, where you got a week of just all the schmoozing. That's like a never-ending schmooze fest.
Yes.
What are you hearing about A.J. Brown?
Well, when it comes to A.J. Brown, I had one GM tell me, well, you know the Patriots are going to be all in on A.J. Brown. And that was before the Stefon Diggs news yesterday. Now, it makes a ton of sense given the history with Vrabel and A.J. Brown from their time in Tennessee. Vrabel was asked about A.J. Brown in particular at the Combine, and he said, it's not just the coach-player relationship that they have. It's they text all the time, you know, when things are good, when things are bad. Vrabel talked about how he's so happy to see the husband, the man, the father that AJ has grown into. So there clearly is love and an appreciation of the game. The question is, will the Patriots be just as aggressive as they were last year in free agency to get AJ Brown, who technically isn't really being shopped by the Eagles? Howie Roseman, though, his phone's always open if you want to call.
Should they be?
Absolutely. Listen, you talked about the history with Vrabel and A.J. Brown. That's a simple call to Howie. That's the what's up, big head, hey, you up type of text that you're sending out there and seeing what it's going to take to get a guy like A.J. Brown. I agree with Harry about the offensive line and protecting Drake May, their quarterback, their franchise quarterback. Another way to protect him, too, is to get a guy on the outside that can get open when you don't have a ton of time. When you're going to a quick drop, A.J. Brown is still that guy that can beat man coverage one-on-one. So going to get a true number one, a big physical receiver like A.J. Brown will be big. Remember, they tried to sign Chris Godwin in free agency a year ago as well.
Right.
A big-name wide receiver. That didn't work out. Now Stefon Diggs is gone. Getting a guy like A.J. Brown will be big for Drake May.
So we had that move made yesterday, and then we had another, and this was another move that took us by surprise, a big trade in the NFL yesterday. Let me show it to you. The Chiefs trading all-pro corner Trent McDuffie to the Rams for a host of picks, including a late first-rounder this year. And this is what we thought of it in Vegas. DraftKings, the Rams entered yesterday tied with the Seahawks for the shortest odds to win the Super Bowl. After yesterday's trade, L.A. is now the favorite. J-Mac, what are the Chiefs doing trading away one of their best players?
That's one of the situations you get in. Trent McDuffie, an all-pro, two-time all-pro type of player. He deserved a massive contract at that cornerback spot. The Chiefs are in a situation where you just can't pay everybody, so they were forced to make a trade and get rid of him and get something in return. To me, this signal for the Chiefs, hey, we don't see ourselves as contenders right away. Patrick Mahomes coming off of an injury. At some point, he's going to be healthy. But not only is Trent McDuffie, their all-pro corner, going to be gone, their corner on the other side, Jalen Watson, he's a free agent. Their safety, Brian Cook, he's a free agent. They could have 3 out of 4 new starters in the secondary next year. To me, this is the Chiefs sort of hitting reset in the sense of now we have to build our next nucleus of the guys that are going to go on a run to become contenders as Mahomes is getting healthy over the next maybe 2 to 3 seasons opposed to 2026.
You sound to me like you're talking about a team that is not, well, Patrick gets healthy and we're right back in the Super Bowl.
I don't see that.
You agree with that, Harry? Do you think the Chiefs are still, I don't know, multiple moves away from being right back in the Super Bowl?
Multiple moves away, Greeny, if you ask me. When you look at the offensive line, the running back position, what's going to go on with Travis Kelce? Is he going to play? Is he not going to play? If he doesn't, how are you going to fill that void? You look at their defensive line. They have multiple pieces on the defensive line. They're going to lose linebackers. They're losing secondary pieces. They have a ton of holes amongst their roster right now, hence to why they probably traded Trent McDuffie to get a lot of draft capital back to reset everything like J-Mac just alluded to. And along as this, on the side of this Trent McDuffie trade, they have a history of not paying the corners or their safeties. You look at Justin Reed a year ago, Shavarius Ward, L'Jarius Sneed, and now Trent McDuffie. Those are 4 guys that were pivotal players in their secondary that they moved on from because they believe in their infrastructure, they believe in their coaching staff, and the way that they're able to develop players too.
He's a terrific player, no question. Regardless of this situation, and the Rams going all in this thing, doing their usual, forgetting about the picks. What do you think about it, Kmart?
I'm concerned about the Chiefs because obviously the Travis Kelce of it all, like what kind of player is he going to be? The fact that Mahomes, we don't know exactly when he will be on the field and how will he look. Him tweeting out yesterday, you know, damn, like he's sitting back knowing that he's not healthy and there's so much at stake with this team. The division's gotten better. They got to take a step back to leap forward, I think, and that's what I think the season might be.
But if you are a Chiefs fan, like, don't panic. Like, when you are able to make a trade like this and get this many assets moving forward now with multiple first-round draft picks, like, this is what you have to do to be able to let Mahomes go on another run when you want to make that comparison to Brady and now the second kind of form of this Chiefs dynasty.
On First Draft Podcast, which will drop later today, Mel and Field are doing a mock, and they have Monroe Fielding, the offensive tackle from Georgia, going to Kansas City at number 9. I know a lot of people would like to see Jeremiah Love there. Maybe it's more important that they rebound. Cowboys are going from seeing red to seeing green. Yesterday, they restructured the contracts of Dak Prescott and CeeDee Lamb and Tyler Smith. They saved nearly $66 million. They're under the cap. It's the first step towards making the moves Jerry Jones promised in free agency starting next week. So listen to how excited Dak Prescott is with what he's seeing right now.
Heck yeah, most definitely, especially what is it said, no projects or what is it, we need guys now to play. Yeah, no red shirts or whatever. Yeah, I mean, we got a coach in the second year. We know we had some ups and downs and shone some good moments last year, and this is the year that you make a big jump, and getting big time players who can help immediately is a key part of that.
Getting big time, you sound impressed.
Rainey?
Yeah, give me the big time player. Who's the big time player they're going to get?
Oh, who they going to get?
He's going to spend money. He said he's going to spend money.
I want to see Maxx Crosby at the start. Personally, I want to see it. I understand that the Cowboys have needs at every position, from edge to linebacker, safety, all of that on the defensive side of the ball. They have a whole new defensive coaching staff. But I'm excited about the Cowboys' potential. I feel like this is a team that is an off-season, is sort of a bunch of aggressive but not reckless moves away from being a legit contender in the NFC.
I'm with you. They have 3 needs, address 1 in free agency and 2 in the draft. And that 1 in free agency, if it starts with Maxx Crosby, who isn't a free agent, they would have to trade for him, and therein lies the rub. But what do you think of it there, Harry Douglas? Are the Cowboys one good, aggressive offseason away from being legitimate contenders? And if so, where should it start next week?
Yeah, and Greeny, you know, I'm very hesitant to say that the Dallas Cowboys can be Super Bowl contenders. I've always been the only team since the year 2000 that have not made an NFC Championship game. But you get 3 solid players on defense, and I'm not just going to put it in the box of Maxx Crosby. You go get a guy like Trey Hendrickson as well. I think that's going to upgrade your defense from a pass rush standpoint and pair them with those interior defensive linemen. Now you can focus from a draft perspective on your linebacker and your secondary, and then, you know, it's the George Pickens piece. But I do believe they need to focus free agency and in the draft on the defensive side of the football, and I think we're talking about a different story for the Dallas Cowboys this season.
And that's why, while I agree with Kmart, I would rather have Maxx Crosby is the better player. But he's much more expensive in terms of what you have to give up. Not just the money. Trey Hendrickson only costs you money. Maxx Crosby costs you money plus a bunch of compensation.
Yes, and I would agree with that. Either one of those players starts you in the right direction. I think this is such a big offseason for Dallas, and we heard what Jerry Jones had to say about free agency and the willingness to spend money. And I look at just the situations Dallas in. Let's also compare it to the New England Patriots. You think about it, when Robert Kraft bought his team in '94, Jerry bought his in '89, and Kraft was kind of under his wing to learn a little bit about ownership in the NFL. An off-season ago, the New England Patriots spent the most money in free agent history, dollars amount, and you fast forward, they were playing in a Super Bowl. If you're Jerry Jones, you're watching that, and you're seeing what they did, and now you have an opportunity with a really good offense to spend the money in free agency, and I think it does start with a Trey Hendrickson over a Maxx Crosby because of what you just said, not giving up that draft capital and still using a draft to build on defense, along with there's some other free agents, especially coming out of Philadelphia, that can really help them as well.
Here's my fear. When I look at the Cowboys, it kind of reminds me of the Cincinnati Bengals from the standpoint of, on offense, you're set. You got it all. Defensively, what is happening? The Cowboys, historically bad last season. Now they've overhauled the coaching staff. Now they need pieces. they can't miss this window. They're paying a lot of guys offensively. If they just need, it's one off season of very smart, aggressive moves, and they draft well. This is a team that drafts well. So I just think they have it right there.
So if they are sort of the modern version of the Bengals, Trey Hendrickson should feel very comfortable in that, right? He went from the offense is great, and we can't stop anybody, to another team. Offense is great, we can't stop anybody. He can help. Harry, give me a final word.
Well, the difference is that he has a Digizua, he has Quinnen Williams, and then also Kenny Clark. You have those interior defensive lineman guys that you can count on who's going to guard or double team. So that's going to leave guys like Trey Hendrickson one-on-one on the outside. But I look at this Dallas Cowboys team. I think the biggest thing from their 2025 season, I was impressed to the maximum with Brian Schottenheimer as a head coach. You just get this defensive side of the football correct, and we're talking about Dallas being in the light that we haven't talked about since the mid-90s.
I agree. This feels, the window may be short because they got a lot of contracts left to figure out, but the window feels like it's open right now. We got hockey tonight on ESPN, a doubleheader. We got Tage Thompson and the Sabres.